Hello all sentient beings and welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we talk about all news, comics, and media related to the... On this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode, we are joined by the guy who owns the largest private collection of MC Hammer parachute pants. Of course, I'm talking about Dr. Pants, who's here to help us review Transformers Beast Wars Issue 3. IDW readies a new Transformers comic book announcement, and we have some more Transformers 7 movie news. Today is Friday, April 9th, 2021, and this is episode 228 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that doesn't endorse robot cannibalism. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
Scott, the illustrious Dr. Pants.
I know these intros sometimes reference the news, and I panicked for a second, wondering what happened. But then I remembered, so I'm good. Hi, everyone.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
We're going to talk about Grimlock and his munching of metal, right? Likes to munch metal. Let's talk Transformers.
All right. Everyone should reread the comic book this week. As always, we start off the show by thanking our Donatrions, those lovely people who give us money on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you so much for your continued support. We really appreciate it. And we are really happy you're with us. So thank you. This week we had the bonus early uncut episode of Empire of Rust, episode 47, Operation Tea Time. This is our Transformers Live Play RPG podcast. So all our Donatrions get access to that uncut, longer episode early. But on Monday next week, April 12th, the regular episode will be out in the main Empire of Rust feed. So transmissionspodcast.com/rust. So you can listen as soon as it's out next Monday. Also, last week we had the opportunity to merge with Nerdstradamus and participate in March Mechness. So, Dr. Pants, thank you for letting us join you.
Thank you for being there. It made for a very entertaining episode. I was really, really happy to do it.
And what do we do?
So glad you asked. The three of you, along with myself and my co-host Lambo, we got to talk about Transformers video games, the past leading up to where we're at currently, and then we all got a chance to pitch what we would imagine our perfect Transformers game to be, and there were a lot of really good pitches. There was a lot of really good discussion there, so please, everyone, go check it out. It's up on the Nerdstradamus YouTube channel. I'm sure there will be a link in the description here. And you could also just go to nerdstradamus.com. It'll be right there on the front page.
And we do have a sad note from Jeremy's time on America's Next Top Podcaster has unfortunately come to an end. So we talked about that in the main show. I don't know if you want to relive that moment, Jeremy.
No, I mean, just it's listen to the main show if you want a lot of the information. It's just, it sucks, but also my life has gotten really busy, so things work out, and I'm happy for the people that are still in it, and my favorite is still in it to win it all, so we'll see how it goes, and it's still a fun podcast to listen to, even though I'm no longer on it.
Now, do you still get access to like the behind the scenes stuff, or do you just have to wait for the regular shows to be produced now?
I still can hear each submission that week, but I don't have any, like we can't listen to the live recordings and stuff anymore. There is a Discord for the show, and as soon as you're eliminated, you are added to this X contestants room.
Oh, okay.
So I always joke that, well, this is where all the cool kids are. Because everyone seems to want to get in there. But yeah, it's still fun.
All right. Well, we are super proud of you, and you did a great job representing us and representing yourself there. So
thanks.
You have nothing to be disappointed or sad about. You did a great job, and we were all pulling for you.
Yeah, and like I said, it was fun. It hurt that night, but the way my life has been over the last month, the time the show took out of my life, there are more important things to take place. Specifically for our show, Mike is taking a few weeks off, so having to edit one of these shows a week is definitely filling that time.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's get into some comics news. Okay, so this week, just a couple of covers. Alex Milne is doing the cover for Beast Wars issue number 5, and so we've got artwork for that. We've got the lines and then the colors. It's creepy. It reminds me of one of the More Than Meets the Eye covers where wasn't there a cover where you had a bot where something was lurking in the shadows about to attack them? It feels like it's an homage to that.
I think you're right, but I can't for the life of me place that cover.
Yeah. But this is a very cool image. Alex Milne's art is always top notch, so look out for this cover. This is going to be the retailer incentive cover for Beast Wars number 5, so check that out. Next, we've got more information on the upcoming My Little Pony Transformers crossover version 2. This is where the ponies come to Cybertron, and this one is called The Magic of Cybertron. I think the first crossover was Friendship in Disguise, and now we've got The Magic of Cybertron. John Barber, he does these little barber shop promotional videos for IDW in his role as editor in chief, and so he went over this upcoming series. We've got these 2 covers, retailer incentive covers, one by Andy Price and one by Anna Malkova. One features the Autobots, one features the Decepticons and all the ponies around them. So yeah, this is coming soon. I believe the first issue will be out this month, so we're looking forward to this. This was a fun crossover last year, and we're looking forward to this next one. So that's all the comics news. So we will move on to our comic review.
This week we're looking at Beast Wars number 3. This is written by Eric Burnham. Art is by Josh Burcham. Letters by J. Kim Wood. Assistant editor is Riley Farmer. The editor is David Marriott, and the supervising editor is Tom Waltz. We have 3 covers. Cover A has Nyx caught in Tarantulas' web. This is by Josh Burcham. Cover B has a Tarantulas and Rat Trap. They're trapped in an endless white void. This is the series of character covers that Dan Schoening and Luis Antonio Delgado are doing. And then the retailer incentive has some little scenes of all the various Beast Wars characters, and this is done by Josh Perez. So, Dr. Pants, let's start with you. Which of these 3 were your favorite?
Probably cover A is my favorite. I really like what's going on in this cover. It's really, really cool looking. Tarantulas is one of my favorite characters from Beast Wars, so that's really cool. Plus, it's, referencing what's going on in the comic. Cover B does look cool. I kind of like the toy accuracy of the Tarantulas in that. I want to love the RI cover because everything looks really, really cool. But the one thing that takes me out of it is I do not like Optimus Primal in it. He looks too squat, too bulky, and the chin is too big. I love everything else about it. It all looks so good. But that being front and center just takes me out of it. So I'm probably just going to go with cover A.
All right. And Daryl, how about you?
All these covers are much too Beast Warsy for me.
Well,
but
that's the book.
That being said, I really like the colors on the RI. It's very bright and depicts a lot more characters. And I think the style in which it's done, I don't find the way Optimus Primal looks to be that distracting. So I'm going to go with the RI. I think it looks great.
Cool. And yeah, I mean, Josh being a colorist primarily, he's always on spot with the colors. Charles, how about you?
I'm also going to complain about the lack of G1 characters on the Beast Wars comic cover. No, I'm not going to do something that's so ridiculous. But I'm going to praise the RI cover by Josh Perez. I think that cover just looks amazing. I really love the composition of all the images, all the way the characters are all arranged. I just think it's great. And yeah, the Optimus Primal doesn't bother me at all either. And I think it's just a great image. I particularly I'm drawn to the bottom where we've got the Dinobot and Scorponok face off there, which is also a subtle reference to this issue as well. And I think it's a great image and a great representation of the season 1 Beast Wars characters with Nyx and Scold thrown in as well as our new additions. So yeah, I really like it.
Cool. I have to agree. I do like cover A a lot. It was going to be my choice until I saw the RI. I can appreciate what they're doing with the cover B with the character stuff. The white void is just the thing that gets me every time. If there was some background, that would be something that I'd be more apt to grab. Especially this one with like Rat Trap actually kind of putting his hand against a screen or a window or something. But when I saw the RI cover, I just thought it was fantastic. I agree. Optimus Primal is squat and chunky, but it doesn't really bother me all that much. And everything else is just on point with it. And I don't know. I always love it when we get to see someone like Josh do a cover, because we very rarely get to see his actual art skill beyond coloring. And he's a really great artist, and I'm glad he's getting more covers. All right, into the book itself. It starts off inside the dark side, where we see Nyx is attached to a torture device, and Megatron is interrogating her. Tarantulas promises that her pain will be lessened a bit if she cooperates, but not by much. Dinobot looks on, but he decides to leave before the torture starts in earnest. Meanwhile, on the Axelon, Cheetor is begging to go out and search for Nyx. Primal understands his concern, but with just the 4 of them and an uncharted environment outside, he decides that it's safer to wait until morning. Later, as he's walking with Rhinox, Optimus is debating his decision. Rhinox points out that this is the exact type of adventure that Primal is looking for. Optimus agrees, but he wonders if he's made the right call, and Rhinox says that with all the information that they had, it probably was. But he honestly doesn't know what could have happened to Nyx. Back in the torture device, Nyx isn't giving any information up. Megatron is continuing to yell at her, and finally Nyx seems to crack. However, she says that he needs to know that history barely remembers the original Megatron, and it'll never remember him. This infuriates Megatron, and he cranks up the device to full power. Standing outside the room, Dinobot hears this, and he rushes in. He shoves Megatron to the side, and he powers down the device. As security head, he doesn't want to lose any information that a prisoner could have. Megatron is aghast at this betrayal, and he grabs Dinobot by the neck as Dinobot continues to tell him that enemies deserve respect and honor. Tarantulas interrupts by noting that what Nyx hasn't told them is probably just as important. And it's clear that by not talking, she was protecting someone. It's likely that there are additional Maximals out there. This seems to cool Megatron off a bit, and as a reward, he gives Nyx to Tarantulas to experiment on. The mad scientist sees this as an opportunity to test something that he's been working on. And Dinobot also gets a reprieve, but with a warning not to do this again. Later, the Predacons are outside the dark side with an unconscious Nyx. As she wakes up, she begins thinking that she had just had a really bad dream, but then she realizes that it was her reality. She immediately sees the Predacons and tries to transform and fly away, but Tarantulas' device has locked her transformation ability. It also has disabled her stasis lock, so as the energon poisoning is taking effect, she's unable to protect herself in any way. Nyx tries to shoot the device, but her weapons are also disconnected. So she has one thing left to try, and she runs. The Predacons begin firing at the ground in front of her, except for Dinobot. As Nyx begins to suffer from the energon poisoning, he shoots the device, letting her transform and fly away to safety. Megatron is incensed and orders the Predacons to destroy Dinobot. However, he easily dodges and defends himself from these attacks, and he tells Megatron that he has no problems killing an enemy in battle, but torturing a prisoner was not honorable. He has his loyalty to his principles and not to Megatron, and as he reaches Scald, he tries to convince the young Predacon to come with him to no avail. So he picks up Scald, and he throws her onto Megatron. Then he orders the dark side to initiate a total lockdown. The Predacons are stuck inside until the security systems can be reprogrammed. As Dinobot makes his escape, Megatron is vowing his revenge. This is issue 3. It was a fairly action-packed episode, or I keep saying I can't stop thinking of Beast Wars as episodes. It was action-packed towards the end, but I thought this was really good at plot development, and we get to what we knew was gonna happen with Dinobot betrayal. I like the addition of Nyx in this as being kind of the catalyst. With the cartoon, it was more focused, I think, on Dinobot just trying to usurp Megatron because he just didn't agree with Megatron. This is, I think, a little bit deeper. I like it. I also like Cheetor trying to insist on taking the action, but Optimus, despite Rhinox noting that this is what he wanted, the type of adventure he wanted, he had the mature leadership decision of this is a unfamiliar environment, but it's, not the smart call. So I think some really good writing decisions here. The art I was pretty happy with throughout. Dinobot's face was a little bit like I had issues with that, but I think outside of his face, I was pretty happy overall. So I'm really enjoying the book, and this one really kind of upped my enjoyment a lot. Daryl, let's start with you. What were your thoughts on the book?
I thought it was okay. I mean, the betrayal or the switching of sides of Dinobot is fairly common knowledge. So it was assumed even by me that this was going to happen at some point. I was kind of surprised that they went with it so quickly. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of Dinobot as part of the Predacons for a little longer. But I mean, everyone knew it was coming, so I guess they have it planned to have hit more of the story with Dinobot as part of the Maximals than the Predacons.
You still have the conflict with Maximals not trusting him, and
of course,
joining
so I guess
up with them. So
you get that you get to that quicker too, right? So, I mean, the action, as far as the action in the book goes, it was okay. It wasn't as action packed as I would have wanted it. It was more, we're going to chase this dog down and put it down. It wasn't much of a fight as much as it was, like one-sided battles, except for maybe the Dinobot versus the entire Predacon team. It was okay. I think I just have this baseline that I'm not a huge fan of Beast Wars, that I just have to kind of get over with. That I really am not a huge fan of the characters, very much. So I'm very aware that Dinobot is a very powerful character. To him taking on all the Predacons is not a big deal because he's quite strong and could easily take on Megatron as well. Whether he'd win that fight or not, that's to be seen. I assume we will see that at some point. But yeah, he's a fairly strong character. So the rest of them are fairly just cannon fodder. Nyx is new. Nyx is a new character. So everything that she does is brand spanking new. So we really don't have any kind of baseline for Nyx. I do like the design of Nyx, and I think we've talked about that on issue 1. Although not a huge understanding as to they had her prisoner, and then all of a sudden she's outside and they let her go. Did they just let her go because they wanted to shoot her? I don't really. What's the deal here?
I think they wanted to see the effects of the energon poisoning.
Oh, okay.
Exactly what it would do. So they disabled everything that she could use to protect herself from it. You see that one panel of her in the fetal position as it's taking effect. So that's kind of, she was
Yeah.
probably going to die.
Gotcha. Huh. All right. Well, it's interesting. When I saw that they took her outside, I was like, she's going to escape. Like, what kind of idiots take their prisoner outside? Like, can you not just look at the effects of this on the inside, I guess? I don't know.
Well, no, because the ship shielding protects them. It's all about being outside, away from the shielding. And that's why they have the beast modes. Watch the TV show.
I don't want to. All right.
Watch the first episode because that kind of just explains all that.
Yeah. We're going to make you watch it as we have more off weeks. We're going to start doing some Beast Wars reviews.
Please do.
I'll be sick.
I'll take his place.
So anyway, it's I thought it was an okay book. The art's fine. The book was fine.
All right. Dr. Pants, you seem to enjoy Beast Wars. What's your thoughts?
I do enjoy Beast Wars. I am a huge fan of it. This was the show I watched every morning before going to school back in the 90s and a bunch of the toys. I absolutely love this book. It takes something that I know really, really well, and it does something different, but at the same time doesn't do too much different that it's not what I remember. Throughout, and I'll just be a little vague at first because I haven't been on here for issues 1 and 2, but one of the things I really, really love is that they're taking these characters and they've been true to all the characters who are returning, but they're elaborating on them more. And one of the things I love is that they keep talking about how each character was a crew member on this ship and what their job was. So we get a little bit more elaboration on why these characters were here. One in particular I'm really happy to see get a little bit more spotlight is like Scorponok, because in the TV show he does nothing. Ever. So that was really, really cool. Tarantulas was one of my favorite characters in the show, and everything he does in this issue is spot on Tarantulas. I can hear it in the voice from the show, and it's perfect. And the fact that this issue itself is a little bit of a callback to, I cannot remember the name of the episode, but it's one of the first season episodes where Tarantulas captures Cheetor. Mm-hmm. Like, it reminded me a lot of that. So it was kind of like a nice callback to that episode. Even him mentioning that he was going to eat Nyx. I think Tarantula says he was going to eat Cheetor in that episode. So it's again, cool callback to that. I like Nyx and I like Skald as new additions to the series. I almost called it a show too. Wow. But
it's tough.
It is. But they're really, really cool. I like Skald's design a lot, and I would love to see figures for these characters. The other big thing I wanted to talk about is, we knew Dinobot was going to betray the Predacons, because, I mean, that happens in, the first 5 minutes of the first episode of Beast Wars? Spoilers.
Essentially.
Yeah. Like, he's never really even with the Predacons. It's like he hates everything, he's just going to leave. This, I think, set it up a lot better with this idea that as he developed in Beast Wars, we got to see this whole idea of how honorable he was and kind of showing that he doesn't like this torture idea and what they're doing with him. And this fact that the Predacons have so much pride in torturing somebody, that's the reason he leaves. I like that a lot. And it sets up the character a lot better. Yeah, I thought the fight scene was cool. I love the artwork. Everything has so much character to it, and all of the fight scenes seem way more animated. I like when Dinobot punches Waspinator in the face and it's like a cartoon, like just side hook. I also love the fact that in the fight with all the Predacons, the only one who actually gets a hit on Dinobot is Skald. She's the only one who actually gets a hit and connects. Mm-hmm. Even Megatron in the fight didn't hit him. So I love the book. I am really, really excited to see where it keeps going. This has just been an absolute treat, and I am in for however long this goes.
Yeah, awesome. And Charles, what are your thoughts?
So this was a good issue for me. I liked the main storyline. I liked the twist of Dinobot, just being fed up with the lack of honor with his fellow Predacons. I think this was handled a lot better than the original TV show, where in the TV show he's just like, Megatron, you're incompetent. I challenge you to a battle. And then he just gets, Scorponok just blows him away. And he gets ambushed. But I like this where he actually has kind of a crisis of conscience here, where he's seeing this enemy combatant being tortured and about to be murdered, and it's just too much for him. So I really like that idea. And so, and then it's like nice to get the focus on Dinobot here. I also really like the writing for Megatron. I could really hear David Kaye's voice in Megatron's dialogue here. I thought that was really well done.
There were a couple of yeses in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And Josh Burgum's art is great. I really like the his style of as I said before, Jeff Senior / Transformers animated style, and using this for the Beast Wars characters is really it brings a unique look to them, especially the Beast Wars characters are supposed to be more rounded since they're transforming into animals, but they are very angular in robot mode here. So it's really an interesting take on them. And so he does everything, art and colors, in the book, and he's just doing a great job. The one thing I maybe will complain a little bit about is I kind of don't like using Nyx as basically the I mean, maybe this is a little unfair, but the quote unquote damsel in distress. It's like we don't really get a lot about her character in this. I mean, she's kind of just there to be a reason for Dinobot to rescue someone and then switch sides. So I hope we get more focus on her, and we did get a little bit of Scold, the new Predacon, so I thought that was good too. But I think these characters deserve a little bit more attention since they're completely new, and we want to get more of an idea of how they fit in with the rest of the characters. So it's a minor complaint, I guess.
I mean, it's understandable, and yeah, hopefully we do get more background. I'm sure with the writing at the level that it was, I'm sure that this experience is going to affect Nyx going forward.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that we get a lot of development from it.
Yeah.
And that's it for Beast Wars number 3.
All right. Now we will move on to Transformers Media News.
All right. In media news this week, we got a couple things to talk about. And the first one is that we got an actor being cast in the next Transformers movie, the Transformers number 7. His name is Anthony Ramos. And when I first heard it, I said, Who is this? Apparently, he is a Broadway actor, and he has been in such roles as Hamilton. And I'm just looking here because I definitely got educated on this when I was talking to people online. He was in the 2019 Godzilla movie. He will be in the musical of The Heights, I guess it is, coming out in the summer this year. In the Heights, that's it. Yeah, so In the Heights. So it's a musical movie that's coming out. So yeah, he's a song and dance man, which is kind of cool. Not that I'm not throwing anything about that. That's Hugh Jackman's a song and dance man. So I mean,
Godzilla was a great musical.
It was great. Yeah, it was a wonderful musical. So yeah, I don't know a lot about this actor, but it appears that he still is kind of just getting into the film aspect of things. But the Twitter stream that I had going on devolved into a maybe Transformers 7 will be a musical. The idea of that just became just the best thing ever, because Transformers is one of those properties that's really lacking musical numbers, musical episodes and stuff like that. So there could be some real fun with that, especially with all the characters that, have a tendency to be related or associated with musical things. Anyway, this new actor, Anthony Ramos, is going to be the lead in Transformers number 7. We don't really have a lot of information about his character name or anything like that.
So you can watch the Hamilton Broadway show on Disney Plus. So he is in the first act. He's John Lawrence, which was one of Hamilton's best friends. And then in the second act, he plays Hamilton's son, who is also killed in a duel before Hamilton dies in a duel. Spoilers.
Spoilers. Jesus.
200-year-old history.
My God.
I don't know your history. Okay, cool. The next thing is that I think it might be Angel Manuel Soto said some information about his Transformers movie, and that there is no connection to the Bayverse. So that's good. His movie will take place outside of the U.S. Yay! and does not involve the military. Yay!
Yay.
So there's really not a lot going on here. He's just kind of giving little bits and pieces about maybe some locations and stuff like that. He says that his budget is over $50 million, which is cool. That's a pretty big budget for him, and he's trying to bring as much of the movie he can to Puerto Rico. So there you go.
One thing I liked about his interview, he said he's trying to humanize the Transformers characters, and he wants them to speak like us, like people speak,
Sure.
because that's how he remembers Transformers. And I'm like, okay, he's saying all the things I want him to say.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stood out to me too. I mean, the Transformers are supposed to be characters. They're supposed to be the people we root for or root against in the movie. We're not supposed to focus on their human companions, sidekicks. You know, they're the humans are the sidekicks. They're not the main characters.
Yeah, I
So
mean, he says that he believes when you humanize them, you can get closer to them and you love them. And if you get closer to a Bay movie Transformer, you're liable to get killed. So either because they're so spiky or because they're always fighting. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do.
Yeah. This is exciting.
And he played with Transformers as a kid, so he grew up with them.
I'm just hoping Bumblebee talks in a movie and doesn't have the stupid radio gimmick or he's mute. I'm tired of that trope that's been going on. Also, the thing in this story that kind of got me was that he's also directing the DC Blue Beetle movie. There's a Blue Beetle movie coming out.
That was my reaction too. It's likely Jaime Reyes, but hey, that's cool.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Well, I mean, I'll believe it. So, I mean, DC and Warner Brothers has a habit of announcing things that then never happen. The New Gods movie that was announced to be directed by Ava DuVernay a few years ago and now has been shelved. So,
yeah,
don't hold your breath on that Blue Beetle movie. I mean, it would be great to see it, but Warner Brothers has a track record of canceling stuff.
Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
track record of crap DC movies.
Yeah, didn't they
That's
just
true.
decide to just start fresh again?
As if they ever had a continuity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a topic for a future extra or something.
Yeah. Look to your Transformers news for all the DCEU upcoming projects.
We've got all kinds of hot takes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I got for media news this week. Not a lot to talk about, but some interesting tidbits about the next Transformers movie. So we'll as these things come a little bit closer, from past Transformers movies, we'll be inundated with little pieces here and there. So enjoy the quietness of it.
All right. And we will finish up the show with convention news.
As you are listening to this today on Friday, April 9th, Hasbro Pulse Fan Fest is happening or has happened. And I'm sure they announced so many awesome things that we will talk about at some point in the future because it hasn't happened yet for us right now. But John Barber posted on the Hasbro Pulse YouTube a video where he was talking about a new exciting collaboration with IDW and Hasbro that will involve Hasbro Pulse exclusive character focused covers by Casey Collar. By now, the news is out, so we will tell you more about it next week. It's very awkward talking about something that is coming out on the day this is released when you're recording it like 6 days before. So yeah,
Need to work on that flux capacitor, Jeremy.
I know. Maybe that's the super secret thing they're doing.
You guys can't see the future? No crystal balls, no nothing?
Not yet.
The
It's
best we
hazy.
have is a magic 8-ball.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's iffy.
The best we can do is cold reading. But that's only good for scamming people out of their money.
Mm.
All right. Well, that's it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Dr. Pants, you want to tell everyone where they can find your stuff online?
Sure. So you can find me and my friends doing our typical video gamey thing at nerdstradamus.com. Our main output is YouTube, the YouTube channel Nerdstradamus. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're Nerdstradamus everywhere, except for Twitter. We're Nerdstradamus DL for the down low. We post mostly on Facebook and Instagram about upcoming things, and there's all kinds of stuff up on Instagram. I'm actually in charge of most of that, so if you're in the mood for some robot photography, you can find it on Instagram. On Twitter, you can find me as Dr. Pants1412, and we just did 2 Transformers-themed episodes on the YouTube channel, so please check that out. The one that we mentioned earlier in the episode with Transmissions. There's another episode where I got my co-host Lambo to agree to take a Transformers quiz that I put together, and then I forced him to transform a bunch of Transformers toys, and I died a little inside. But hey, it makes for good entertainment, so if that's what I have to sacrifice, it's worth it.
Well, that's a tease if I never heard one. All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We end the show by giving our Masterpiece Donatron shout-outs to John 4X Levengood and Dinobot Maximize. Thank you guys for continuing to support the show at our highest level, which is why you get a shout-out. And we've got merchandise from our TeePublic store. That's at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. And you can get all our shirt designs and masks and other merchandise there. If you buy anything from TeePublic through our store, transmissionspodcast.com/shop, that helps us out. All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Later.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
We will move on to our comic review.
Embargoed comic.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. I forgot. Blah, blah, blah. Comic review. That was Beast Wars number 3.
Yeah, I was like literally not like did not have any of my review stuff up because I'm like, it's embargoed. So I just sat there and I'm like, Charles doesn't realize it's embargoed.
I was just hoping this wasn't going to be another week where it turns out, oh no, the comic's not coming out for a few more weeks. We can't review it.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
All right. Well, that is it for Beast Wars number 3. And we will, I don't know what, I blanked. I guess
You can just say that's it for Beast Wars number 3, and then you can edit it in with my stuff at the beginning or at the end.
Okay.